Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the British Accent Podcast. I'm your host, Robert, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. This is episode 7, and we've got something really useful lined up for you. Whether you're applying for your first job, aiming for a career change, or just want to improve your professional communication, this episode is packed with tips, strategies, and examples to help you feel more confident in job interviews. We'll walk through each stage of the interview process, from preparation to body language, and share what really matters to interviews. And of course, Sophie will be with us, sharing her perspective and maybe even a few fun stories. So, sit back, grab your cup of tea, and let's dive into the world of job interviews. Before you walk into any interview, preparation is key. This step often makes the difference between a confident, well-spoken candidate and one who fumbles under pressure. Let's start with some basics. 1. Research the company. Not just their homepage, but also their recent projects, culture, and mission. 2. Understand the job description. Break it down and match your skills to each requirement. 3. Prepare answers to common questions. Like tell me about yourself or why should we hire you? 4. Plan what you'll wear. Dress appropriately for the role and the industry. And practice speaking clearly, with confidence. You should also prepare some thoughtful questions for the interview. This shows you're engaged and serious about the opportunity. And one final tip for this part, don't memorize answers word for word. Instead, focus on key ideas and practice expressing them naturally. The goal is to be confident, not robotic. The moment you walk into the room, your interview has already begun. Your first impression matters a lot. Walk in with a straight posture, make eye contact, and greet the interview with a firm handshake and a natural smile. Body language plays a huge role. Sit upright, avoid fidgeting, and keep your hands visible. Nod when appropriate to show you're actively listening. When answering questions, be clear and concise. Use the STAR method for behavioral questions. That means situation, task, action, and result. This helps structure your answers and keeps them focused. Also, be honest. If you don't know something, it's better to admit it and explain how you'd go about finding the answer, rather than bluffing. Keep your tone professional but friendly. Show enthusiasm for the role and speak with confidence, not arrogance. And remember, interviews are a two-way street. You're also seeing if the company is a good fit for you. Even if you're qualified, small mistakes can hurt your chances. One of the biggest errors is not researching the company beforehand. If you don't know what they do or what values they stand for, it shows a lack of interest. Another mistake is talking too much or too little. Long-winded answers can be tiring for the interview, while short, one-word responses may seem unprepared. Try to keep your answers balanced. Avoid speaking negatively about past employers or colleagues. It reflects badly on your professionalism. Instead, focus on what you learned or how you grew from difficult situations. Some people also forget to ask questions at the end. That's a missed opportunity to show engagement. Ask about the team, future projects, or the company culture, but avoid questions that are only about salary or time off, at least in the first interview. Finally, don't forget the follow-up. Not sending a thank you email after the interview is a small thing, but it makes a big difference in standing out. In today's job market, many interviews happen online, especially the first round. While it might feel more relaxed at home, a video interview needs just as much preparation as an in-person one. First, check your tech setup. Make sure your internet connection is stable, your microphone is clear, and your camera works well. Test everything the day before, and not just 5 minutes before the call. Choose a quiet and tidy space with good lighting. A plain background is best. You don't want your laundry or kitchen in the background distracting the interview. And make sure no one walks in during the interview. Dress professionally, yes, even your pants. You never know when you might have to stand up. Look at the camera, not the screen, to simulate eye contact. And speak clearly, with small pauses to account for any lag. Lastly, close all notifications, silence your phone, and turn off background apps that might slow your connection or distract you. The interview might be over, but your chance to make a good impression isn't. After the interview, it's a good idea to send a thank you email within 24 hours. Keep it short and polite. Start by thanking the interview for their time, then briefly mention something you enjoyed or found interesting during the conversation. You can also lightly reinforce why you're a good fit for the role. Here's an example. Dear, and put your name. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I really enjoyed learning more about your team and the exciting projects at. Put the company name. I believe my background in this field and my enthusiasm for. Put here something discussed. Would be a great match. I look forward to the next steps. Kind regards. Your name. It's simple but effective. This small gesture shows professionalism, gratitude, and attention to detail. And then, you wait. But while you wait, don't stop applying elsewhere until you've got an offer in hand.
Cinema Talks?
In this episode Cinema Talks, we've picked a film that connects beautifully with today's topic, job interviews and the struggle to find a better future. The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith, is based on the true story of Chris Gardner, a man who faces homelessness while trying to land a job that can give his son and himself a better life. The film is powerful, emotional, and full of moments that remind us how hard it can be to stay confident, especially during interviews and professional setbacks. There's a powerful scene where Chris walks into an interview in a paint-splattered shirt, after being arrested the night before. He's honest, composed, and determined, and he still manages to impress the interviews because of his attitude and problem-solving mindset. It's a perfect example of how character sometimes outweighs appearance. If you haven't seen it yet, it's truly worth watching. Sophie, how about you? What movie did you pick this time?
Thanks, Robert. I absolutely love your choice. The Pursuit of Happiness is so moving. Now, I went with something a little lighter, but still very relevant to our topic. It's The Intern starring Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway. In the film, De Niro plays a 70-year-old widower who becomes a senior intern at an online fashion company. What I find so inspiring about it is how it challenges the traditional expectations of age and experience in the workplace. He doesn't go through a standard job interview, but we still see how he adjusts, learns, and proves his value. It's a beautiful reminder that interviews and jobs aren't just about ticking boxes. They're about connection, attitude, and willingness to adapt. And I have to say, this movie made me rethink the way I see workplace dynamics and mentorship. Words of Wisdom.
Time for our words of wisdom, and this week's quote is one that really fits today's topic about job interviews and personal growth. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. Bobby Unser. It's simple, yet powerful. So often we think success is just about being in the right place at the right time, but this reminds us that preparation plays just as big a role. Job interviews are a perfect example. If you prepare well, you'll be ready when the opportunity comes. Take this quote with you the next time you're getting ready for an interview, or any big moment in life. Be ready, be confident, and trust the work you've done.
Curious Minds. The Science Corner.
In today's Curious Minds, the Science Corner, let's explore something fascinating, the psychology of first impressions. Did you know that it takes only about 7 seconds for someone to form a first impression of you? That's less time than it takes to say your full name. And what's even more interesting is that this impression is largely based on nonverbal cues, like your posture, eye contact, handshake, and even the tone of your voice. Scientists have found that mirror neurons in our brains play a role in this process. When we observe someone, these neurons help us feel what the other person might be feeling, which is why body language and expressions have such a powerful effect during interviews. So, the next time you walk into a job interview, remember, your brain and your interviews are doing a lot of silent communication before any words are spoken. That's why preparation is important, but so is being aware of how you present yourself physically and emotionally. Time to check out what our listeners had to say after last week's episode on body language. And we got some great messages this time. Question 1. Hi Robert, I really enjoyed the episode on body language. You mentioned how posture can affect how others see us, but can it also affect how we feel about ourselves? Okay, there's actually a well-known study by Amy Cuddy that suggests standing in a power pose for just 2 minutes can increase your confidence. It's all about how the mind and body are connected, so yes, posture doesn't just change how people see us, it can also change how we feel inside. Question 2. Sophie mentioned eye contact last episode. But in some cultures, strong eye contact can be seen as rude. What should we do in international situations?
Great point. Body language isn't universal. In Western cultures, eye contact is seen as confident, but in some Eastern cultures, avoiding eye contact can be a sign of respect. So when working or speaking internationally, it's a good idea to learn the basics of the other culture's non-verbal norms. It shows respect and helps avoid awkward moments.
Question 3. Is smiling always good in a job setting, or can it seem fake? Yes, smiling is usually positive, but like everything in body language, context matters. A warm, natural smile makes you approachable. But if you smile constantly, especially when the situation doesn't call for it, it can seem forced. The best smiles are genuine, and they reach the eyes. And that brings us to the end of today's episode on job interviews, a topic that I think touches everyone at some point in life. Whether you're preparing for your very first interview or you're a seasoned professional looking for your next role, I hope you found something useful in today's discussion. We explored how to prepare mentally and practically, how to answer tough questions with confidence, and how to present yourself in the best light. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared and being yourself. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the British Accent Podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need a little job interview motivation this week. And now, I want to hear from you. What's the toughest interview question you've ever faced? Drop your answers in the comments or send us a message. Your question might be featured in our next listener question section. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking confidently.